The stars had always been humanity's friends. For centuries, humans had looked up at the night sky and imagined endless possibilities. Planets to explore, mysteries to solve, and maybe even neighbors among the stars. Humanity never feared what was out there. Curiosity drove our greatest achievements, and hope lit every spaceport and every telescope. But hope can vanish in a single moment, and curiosity can turn into dread faster than anyone could imagine. It started with a message. A single clear universal warning that spread through every major communication network in the galaxy. The alien civilizations have united. Earth is a target. Prepare for war. The words were cold and clinical, but the meaning sank deep into every human heart. The galaxy was declaring war on humanity. Not one empire, not one fleet. It was every civilization, every starfaring race joined in a single unstoppable alliance. On Earth, the cities fell silent for a moment. In New York, London, Shanghai, and Karachi, people stared at their screens, some unable to speak, some unable to believe it. Children asked questions they could not understand the answers to. Mothers held them close. Fathers clenched their fists, their knuckles white, their hearts trembling in fear for a future that seemed suddenly fragile. Admiral Lena Torres stood on the command deck of the Erebus, the largest human warship ever built. Her eyes scanned the view screen as the first alien fleets appeared, glowing against the blackness of space. The ships were massive, shapes and designs that made the mind reel. They moved with precision, elegance, and deadly intent. Humanity had built fleets for exploration, for defense, but nothing like this. Nothing could have prepared them for the combined might of the galaxy itself. Lena swallowed hard and clenched the rail in front of her. Her hands shook, but not with fear. No, that was something else, something darker. She could feel the weight of every human life on her shoulders. Every person who had ever trusted humans to survive depended on her. And yet inside her chest a different feeling burned. It was defiance. A stubborn, unyielding spark that refused to die. The galaxy had chosen to declare war, but humanity had never been weak. Humanity had never surrendered. Meanwhile, Captain Malik Shah was on Earth speaking to the Global Defense Council. His voice was steady, but his heart raced. "They think we are soft," he said. "They think we will bend, that we will kneel. They do not know humans. They have never met humans in true anger. They have never faced a species that fights not just for survival, but for every heartbeat, every laugh, every small joy that makes life worth living." His words echoed across the council chambers, into every broadcast, into the ears of every human across the planet. Somewhere in some quiet room a child nodded, not fully understanding the meaning but feeling the courage behind the words. Panic spread. Yes, but so did determination. Across the globe, ordinary people began to act. Engineers studied old military manuals and improvisational weapons guides. Farmers stocked supplies, dug bunkers, and fashioned rudimentary defenses. Scientists worked day and night, converting research labs into war rooms. People who had never held a weapon before now studied starship schematics, preparing to turn their world into a fortress. Humanity refused to bow. Humanity refused to disappear quietly. The first wave of alien ships approached just beyond Mars. Earth trembled as their engines lit the void, sending vibrations through the planet's core. News channels interrupted everything with live feeds of the approaching armada. Citizens watched in fear and awe. Some cried, some prayed, others clenched their fists and whispered, "We are human, and we will fight." In that moment, Lena understood something that no strategy meeting or weapon blueprint could teach. The galaxy could send fleets, could unleash weapons, could try to scare humans into submission, but fear alone would not defeat them. Humans were unpredictable. Humans were stubborn. Humans burned brighter when faced with darkness, and for the first time she allowed herself a small, grim smile. "This is it," she said softly to no one in particular. "This is the day the galaxy learns the truth about humans." Far below, on the streets of every city, people stared at the sky, feeling the shadow of war before it had even begun. And yet deep inside in every human heart a spark of fire grew. It was fear, yes, but also courage, determination, and the promise that humanity would not be broken. The galaxy had declared war. Humanity's answer had not yet been spoken, but the fire was already burning, quiet, fierce, and unstoppable. The alien fleets arrived with the cold precision of a storm. Their ships moved in patterns no human had ever seen, a deadly dance of metal and light across the void. From Earth, the sky glowed with the distant flash of energy weapons. Oceans trembled. Mountains shook. Humanity watched frozen as the impossible unfolded above them. For 2 weeks, humanity tried to reason. Messages were sent, offers of surrender, appeals to diplomacy, but the alien coalition had no interest in words. They wanted annihilation. Cities on the moon's mining colonies were obliterated first, wiped off the map with a single brutal strike. Millions died before they could even react. Earth itself seemed to shiver at the sight. Governments panicked. Some wanted to surrender, to beg for mercy. But the humans who still had hope refused to kneel. Captain Malik Shah gripped the control panel of the Aegis, one of Earth's fastest warships. Around him, the crew worked with tense precision, eyes darting across the view screen as alien vessels advanced. He could feel the weight of humanity pressing down on him. Every decision he made could mean life or death, not just for him but for every person alive. And yet somewhere in the pit of his stomach a defiance burned hotter than fear. "We have to fight," he said, voice steady but low. "They think we are weak. They think we will break. Let's show them they were wrong." The plan was desperate. Human ships were outnumbered, outgunned, and outmatched. Conventional weapons barely scratched the alien armor. But humans had something aliens did not: ingenuity, unpredictability, and the willingness to risk everything for survival. Malik's team converted every cargo ship into makeshift warships. Old satellites were armed with missiles. Mining equipment became flamethrowers of plasma. Every scrap of metal, every ounce of energy was used to create traps and ambushes. The first encounter came in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. A convoy of alien frigates moved with deadly speed, confident in their superiority. Malik and Lena coordinated from their separate ships, their communication precise, almost instinctive. Human ships darted among the asteroids, small and agile, invisible until it was too late. Then, in a sudden burst, the ambush struck. Explosions rocked the void as alien cruisers were destroyed by tactics no alien mind could predict. One ship, larger than Earth's tallest skyscraper, was hit by a ramming cargo vessel converted into a guided missile. The impact tore the alien armor apart, sending a cascade of debris into space. Humans cheered across their comms not for joy, but for survival, for proof that their courage mattered. Yet the victory was bitter. Many human ships were lost. Skilled pilots, young engineers, and brave soldiers died in the same flashes of light that destroyed their enemies. Every cheer was tinged with grief. Humanity was not invincible, and the cost of defiance was written in the ashes of those who fell. Malik felt it in his chest, a mix of pride and sorrow, hope and fear. Across the earth, news of the ambush spread like wildfire. People wept, hugged strangers, and whispered the names of the fallen. But alongside the grief came a new feeling: awe. Humans had fought back, and they had scored a victory no one thought possible. Civilians, engineers, and students alike began building their own defenses. Every small act, turning a factory into a weapons lab, repurposing a satellite, creating communication networks to warn cities, became part of the battle. Humanity was learning quickly. Humanity was surviving. On the bridge of the Erebus, Admiral Lena Torres watched the reports come in. She saw the first bloodshed, the loss, and the bravery. She saw children in bunkers drawing pictures of ships and rockets, their faces serious beyond their years. She saw families preparing, not surrendering, but fighting in their own ways. And she understood the truth that the galaxy would soon discover. Humans fought not just for victory, but for every heartbeat, every laugh, every memory worth living for. "This is only the beginning," Lena said softly, voice trembling with emotion. "They will come again, and when they do, we will be ready." Far above Earth, the alien fleets paused. They had never faced an enemy like this before. They had assumed humans were weak, pliable, easy to destroy. But the humans fought with something no weapon could measure: determination, creativity, and the raw, burning fire of a species that refused to die quietly. The first blood had been spilled on both sides, but the message was clear: humanity would not surrender. Humanity would not hide. And the galaxy, for the first time, would learn that humans were not prey. They were predators in their own right, small but fierce, clever and unyielding, and willing to risk everything to protect their home. The war had begun, and the galaxy would never forget the fire that humans had answered with. The first victories had been hard won, but they were only the beginning. Humanity had tasted its own strength, and in every corner of the planet hearts burned brighter than ever before. Cities were scarred, satellites lay in ruins, and starships floated like broken toys in orbit. Yet something stronger than fear had begun to rise: hope, courage, and the fierce determination that defined every human being. In the ruined streets of Tokyo, engineers and students worked side by side, turning wreckage into weapons. Broken vehicles became armored transport. Old communication towers became radar outposts. Children helped by carrying tools and relaying messages, their small hands steady, their young faces filled with solemn determination. "We can help," one whispered, her voice steady though her hands shook. "We have to help." And that simple truth spread like wildfire. Everyone could do something. Everyone could fight. On the Aegis, Captain Malik Shah studied the alien fleet movements with a keen eye. Each attack, each retreat, each strange maneuver was a lesson. Humans adapted. Humans learned quickly. Where aliens expected patterns, they found chaos. Controlled, brilliant chaos born of desperation and daring. Malik smiled faintly as he realized it. Humanity's strength was not just firepower, it was ingenuity, unpredictability, and a refusal to surrender. Meanwhile, on Earth, civilians were rising to challenges that no one had imagined. Farmers in Argentina dug bunkers and hid families while building weapons from agricultural machinery. Scientists in Germany reprogrammed satellites to relay warning signals and guide human fighters through asteroid fields. Ordinary people, teachers, mechanics, office workers, became part of the war effort, each small action combining into a force the aliens could not comprehend. Admiral Lena Torres watched all of it unfold from the bridge of the Erebus. Her heart swelled with pride and fear in equal measure. Pride because humans were proving that no fleet, no weapon, no alien intellect could crush their spirit. Fear because every day brought loss. Young soldiers, brave engineers, and civilians who had volunteered to fight were dying, and the grief was unbearable. Yet in that grief was a strange beauty. The knowledge that humans fought for love, for life, for every memory worth protecting. One evening, as the sun set over a battered New York, Lena received a message from a small town in the Midwest. The voice on the comm was trembling but defiant. "We're ready," it said simply. "You may be outnumbered, but we're with you. Every man, every woman, every child will fight." Lena's eyes filled with tears. She realized then that the heart of humanity was not in its ships or its weapons or even its cities. It was in the people themselves, ordinary yet extraordinary, bound together by the unbreakable will to survive. In space, Malik led a daring mission to rescue civilians trapped on a mining colony under alien attack. Against impossible odds, human fighters navigated asteroid belts, dodged alien fire, and saved thousands of lives. The aliens were confused and frustrated. Every tactic they tried was met with clever countermeasures. Every fleet they destroyed was replaced by new strategies born from human creativity. The galaxy began to whisper. Humans were dangerous not because of technology alone, but because of the heart and mind behind it. Even in the darkest moments, humans found ways to inspire each other. Children drew pictures of human heroes and sent them to soldiers in orbit. Families wrote letters to the Erebus and Aegis, simple notes filled with courage. "We believe in you. Fight for us. Fight for all of us." Lena read them aloud to the crew, and the words lifted spirits that were weary from constant battle. Each letter was a reminder that humanity was never alone, that the fight was bigger than one ship, one soldier, or one planet. By the end of the month, humanity had established a network of hidden bases and fortified positions across the solar system. Small victories became momentum. Ambushes in asteroid belts, clever defenses on moons, and daring counterattacks kept the alien fleets cautious. Humanity was learning quickly, adapting faster than the galaxy expected, and behind every move was the same truth. Humans fought not because they had to, but because they could not imagine surrender. Lena looked at the stars late one night. Each pinprick of light seemed to shimmer with the possibility of war and wonder. "They will never understand us," she said softly. "They will never know what it means to be human." Malik's voice came over the comm, calm but firm. "No," he agreed. "They don't understand. And they will learn. They will all learn. The galaxy may have declared war, but humanity had already answered, with fire, courage, and the unbreakable heart of a species that refused to bow. And in every human soul the message was clear. The fight was just beginning, but humanity would never falter. 2 years had passed since the galaxy first declared war on humanity. 2 years of fear, loss, and endless struggle. Cities lay in ruins. Oceans were polluted with debris from shattered ships. Space stations floated like ghostly tombs, reminders of battles fought and lives lost. Humanity had endured, but every soul carried scars, visible and invisible. And yet, in the heart of that struggle, a new hope was quietly growing. In the hidden depths of an asteroid field near Jupiter, humans worked tirelessly. Scientists, engineers, and military strategists collaborated in secret, their hands raw from labor and their minds stretched to the limit. They were building a weapon unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen, a weapon born not just of technology, but of desperation, courage, and the unyielding will to survive. It was called the Firestorm engine. The Firestorm engine was terrifying in its potential. It could turn a planet into a radiant beacon of destruction, a controlled inferno capable of reshaping entire battlefields. Some called it a doomsday device, but humanity did not build it to destroy recklessly. They built it to send a message, to tell the galaxy that humans would not bow, would not hide, and would never surrender. Admiral Lena Torres stood before the massive structure, her reflection faint in the polished metal of the engine's hull. Her hands gripped the railing as she felt the pulse of energy inside. Every hum, every vibration was a promise that humanity's courage could not be crushed, that every loss, every sacrifice, every tear had meaning. "This is our answer," she whispered. "The answer to fear, to death, to the galaxy that thought we were weak." Captain Malik Shah joined her, his eyes scanning the blueprints projected above the control table. "It's dangerous," he said. "One mistake and it could destroy more than the aliens. Are we ready to take that risk?" Lena turned to him, her gaze fierce. "We don't have a choice. The galaxy came for us. We can't wait for mercy that will never come. If war is their answer, fire will be ours." Across the solar system, humans prepared like never before. Every ship was refitted, every fleet trained, every plan rehearsed. Civilians contributed in ways that astonished even the military commanders. Children in hidden bunkers practiced emergency drills. Farmers transported supplies through dangerous terrain. Engineers worked day and night, modifying ships, weapons, and satellites to support the coming battle. Every human knew that this was more than a fight. It was survival, and survival required every ounce of courage and ingenuity they could muster. The first test came unexpectedly. An alien scouting fleet approached the asteroid field, moving with their usual confidence. Lena ordered the Firestorm engine into partial activation, a controlled pulse to warn the invaders. The result was immediate. Several alien ships exploded in brilliant orange flares. Others retreated, confused and shaken. The galaxy had underestimated humans again. It had never seen such a weapon deployed with precision, with intelligence, with courage. Back on Earth, people felt the shockwave in spirit, if not in body. News of the partial test spread across hidden channels, bringing a sense of hope humanity had not felt in years. "We are not alone," said a teacher in Cairo, speaking to a classroom of frightened children. "Look at what our people are doing out there. Look at what we can achieve together. This is humanity, and we will survive." As weeks passed, Lena and Malik refined the weapon's deployment. Simulations were run, strategies rehearsed, and contingencies prepared. Every failure was a lesson. Every small success built confidence. Humans were learning faster than the aliens could anticipate, and the aliens, who had believed they could crush humanity with sheer numbers, began to hesitate. Then, the moment came. The alien flagship approached Earth, confident that victory was imminent. Lena and Malik coordinated the fleet. The firestorm engine was ready. Humans watched from every hidden outpost, every planet, and every space station. The tension was unbearable. And yet, within that tension, a strange calm emerged. The calm of a species that knew it had no choice but to fight. And fight brilliantly. "This is more than a weapon," Lena said quietly, looking out at the alien fleet. "It's a statement. The galaxy wanted war. We will show them the fire that burns in every human heart." Malik nodded. "Then let's light the stars." The turning point had arrived. Humanity was no longer the hunted. Humanity was rising, fierce, brilliant, and unstoppable. The galaxy would soon learn that humans fought not just for survival, but for honor, for courage, and for the undeniable truth that no species could crush a spirit that refused to die. The alien flagship hovered at the edge of Earth's orbit, its shadow stretching across the planet like a dark omen. Humanity had waited, hidden, and prepared for this moment for years. Every fleet, every station, every hidden weapon was ready. And at the heart of it all, the firestorm engine pulsed with unimaginable energy, a quiet promise of fire and defiance. Admiral Lena Torres stood on the bridge of the Erebus, hands trembling slightly as she gripped the control rail. The crew around her moved with tense precision, their eyes wide with anticipation. This was the moment humanity had prepared for. A strike not just of survival, but of pride, of courage, of the fiery heart that made humans unlike any species the galaxy had ever encountered. "Coordinates locked," said Malik Shah from the Aegis. His voice was steady, but beneath it ran a current of emotion. Every human on both ships felt it. The weight of hope, the weight of every life lost, and the weight of the promise they had made to each other and to their species. "On your mark, Admiral," Lena nodded. "Do it." The firestorm engine activated. A brilliant pulse of energy shot into space, lighting the void with a color so fierce it seemed to burn through darkness itself. Alien ships exploded in blinding orange flares, metal twisting and melting under the sudden surge. Shockwaves rippled across the fleet, sending smaller ships spinning into debris. The aliens had never experienced anything like it. They had counted on fear, on weakness, but instead, they were met with fire, strategy, and the unyielding will of a species that refused to die quietly. Every human fleet moved with precision, using the chaos to their advantage. Makeshift ships and converted cargo vessels launched daring attacks, striking alien cruisers from angles no one could anticipate. Pilots maneuvered through debris, dodging explosions and firing weapons in daring arcs. It was chaos, but controlled chaos, a symphony of human ingenuity and bravery that the aliens could neither predict nor counter. Across Earth, people watched as news channels, hidden transmissions, and live feeds showed the first massive strike. Children clutched their parents' hands. Families held each other close. The destruction of the alien fleet was terrifying, yes, but it was also beautiful. Humanity had struck first and struck with power, and the world had never felt more alive. In the asteroid fields and hidden bases, engineers and strategists coordinated backup strikes. Satellites were repurposed. Satellites once meant for communication, now delivering precise weapon payloads. Every invention, Every improvisation became a weapon in humanity's growing arsenal. Humans were learning, adapting faster than the galaxy could anticipate, and in that learning they found strength. Every loss had taught them something. Every death had fueled their resolve. Every human heartbeat in sync with the fire that now swept across space. Malik watched from his command deck as the alien flagship faltered, flames licking its hull. "They won't forget this," he muttered, "and they will fear us forever." Lena's eyes were fixed on the fire spreading across the enemy fleet. "They'll remember what it means to challenge humans. They'll remember that we do not bow, that we do not surrender." Even as the battle raged, humans took moments to honor those who had fallen. Pilots saluted the empty seats of comrades. Children drew pictures of heroes who would never return home, and messages of hope and courage were sent to every ship, every station, every human hiding on distant moons and planets. Humanity fought not just for survival, but for memory, for honor, for every heartbeat worth protecting. By the time the alien fleet began to retreat, what remained was a clear message. Humanity had survived. Humanity had struck first and with devastating brilliance. The galaxy had underestimated a species that refused to bend, a species that burned brighter under pressure, a species that would fight until its last breath. Lena and Malik watched the remnants of the alien ship scatter across the void. The Erebus and Aegis were battered but unbroken. The crew cheered, not in glee, but in the relief of knowing that humanity had survived another impossible day. The fire that had ignited in every human heart had now been unleashed upon the galaxy, and the message was unmistakable. Humanity would not be conquered, and their spirit could not be broken. As the sun rose over the battered planet, painting the sky in gold and orange, Lena whispered to herself, "This is only the beginning. But the galaxy will never forget the fire of humans." Malik joined her silently, their eyes meeting in understanding. The war had not ended. It would rage on, but humanity had spoken, and the universe had listened. The fire of resistance had been lit, and nothing would ever extinguish it. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. Alien commanders stared at the wreckage of their fleet, their eyes wide with disbelief. A species they had assumed weak, fragile, and predictable had struck back with fire, strategy, and an unyielding will. Humanity had not only survived, they had changed the rules of war. And now, the alien coalition began to understand a terrifying truth. Humans did not fight like any other species. Captain Malik Shah watched the reports flood in from every sector. Alien patrols had retreated from Mars, Jupiter, and the outer moons, their confidence shattered. Their fleets had been reduced, their strategies disrupted. Every counterattack had been met with human ingenuity. Satellites repurposed as weapons, cargo ships transformed into ambush vessels, and pilots maneuvering with daring brilliance. The humans adapted faster than the aliens could anticipate, learning from every strike, every loss, every victory. On Earth, people could feel the shift. News channels and transmissions brought reports of victories large and small. Civilians had joined the war effort in ways no one had expected. Children built small drone scouts, farmers delivered supplies through dangerous territory, and scientists continued refining weapons that could strike with precision. Every human, no matter how ordinary, had become part of the resistance, part of the fire that now spread across the galaxy. Admiral Lena Torres stood on the bridge of the Erebus, her eyes fixed on the distant alien fleet attempting to regroup. She could see the fear in their movements, the hesitation where once there had been confidence. "They don't know what to expect," she said softly, almost to herself. "They've never faced humans before. They don't understand the fire in our hearts." Malik nodded beside her. "And they will never understand it," he said. "We fight for life. For every memory, every laugh, every heartbeat. They fight for conquest. They can't match that." The alien commanders had begun sending delegations, messages filled with warnings and threats. Some offered ceasefires, hoping to intimidate humans into submission. Others tried to negotiate, only to be met with silence or defiance. Humanity's response was simple yet powerful. The galaxy had underestimated them, and that was the gravest mistake it could make. Even in the darkest moments, humans inspired each other. Families sent messages to soldiers in orbit, "Fight for us. Fight for everyone who cannot fight." Children drew pictures of human heroes and ships, their small hands shaking with effort, yet filled with determination. Communities rebuilt in secret, preparing for the next wave. Every human, no matter their age or station, contributed to the fight, their courage multiplying across the planet and the solar system. The aliens tried to strike again, sending a new fleet to test humanity's defenses. But the humans were ready. Using knowledge gained from previous battles, they anticipated every maneuver. Every ambush was countered with strategy. Every trap met with a plan. The alien ships, once confident and terrifying, were now cautious, hesitant. And every time they attacked, they met fire, ingenuity, and the relentless human spirit. On the bridge of the Erebus, Lena felt a quiet pride swell within her. Humanity had been pushed to the edge, tested beyond endurance, and yet here they were, stronger, smarter, and braver than ever. "This is what it means to be human," she whispered. "We survive. We adapt, we fight, and we refuse to be broken." Malik's gaze turned to the stars where alien ships flickered in retreat. "They'll tell stories about us now," he said. "They'll warn each other. Humans are dangerous. Humans cannot be controlled. Humans will burn brighter than any star in the sky." Lena smiled faintly. "Yes," she said. "And when the galaxy thinks it has learned, we will teach it again. Every time, until they remember that humans do not kneel." The human fleets pressed forward, striking alien positions with precision and courage. Each battle taught humans more. Each victory strengthened their resolve. And across Earth, in every city, town, and hidden base, the people celebrated, not in arrogance but in unity. They had survived the impossible, and the fire that burned within them was now a beacon of hope, defiance, and unbreakable will. The galaxy had begun to understand the truth about humanity, a truth that terrified even the most advanced alien civilizations. Humans were not weak, not fragile, not predictable. They were fire, they were courage, they were relentless, and they would never ever be conquered. In the quiet moments between battles, Lena and Malik looked out at the stars. "We've shown them who we are," Lena said softly. "But the fight isn't over." Malik nodded. "No," he agreed. "It's only getting started, and the galaxy will remember us forever." Humanity had become more than survivors. Humanity had become a force the galaxy feared, respected, and could never underestimate. The reckoning had begun, and nothing would ever be the same again. The galaxy was quiet, but not in peace. It was the silence of awe and fear. Alien fleets had retreated to distant star systems, regrouping, sending messages filled with caution and respect. No one had dared attack Earth since the last strike of the Firestorm engine. Humanity had proven its strength, not only in firepower but in courage, ingenuity, and an unyielding will. The message was clear. Humans could not be crushed, could not be controlled, and would never kneel. Admiral Lena Torres stood on the bridge of the Erebus looking at the stars. Each point of light was a potential threat, a potential enemy, but now they also carried a story. Stories of humans who had survived impossible odds, stories of courage that defied expectation, stories of fire that had burned brighter than any alien ambition. She felt the weight of every life lost, every city destroyed, every human who had fought and not returned. And yet beneath that weight there was pride, hope, and an unshakable certainty. Humanity had won respect. And in that a kind of triumph. Captain Malik Shah joined her, eyes scanning the empty reaches of space. "We've survived," he said quietly. "But it's more than that. We've changed the galaxy's view of us. They'll never underestimate humans again." Lena nodded, her gaze softening. "They'll remember the fire in our hearts. Not just our weapons, but our courage, our families, our spirit. They'll know that humans fight for everything that matters, and that makes us unstoppable." Back on Earth, life was returning slowly, painfully, beautifully. Cities were rebuilt, homes repaired, and fields replanted. Children laughed in streets that had once known fear. Families embraced with tears, grateful for survival, grateful for hope. Humans had endured the worst the galaxy could send, and yet they continued to rise, to create, to live. Every act of rebuilding was a victory. Every smile a defiance of the darkness that had once threatened to swallow them whole. In hidden bases and distant colonies, humans celebrated victories quietly but meaningfully. Engineers who had modified cargo ships into war machines, pilots who had risked their lives in asteroid belts, families who had sheltered refugees, all were remembered, honored, and cherished. The galaxy had seen humans fight, and now humanity could finally honor its own. Every person knew that the fire of resistance was not just in the ships or weapons, it was in their hearts, in the courage they shared, in the will to survive against impossible odds. The alien leaders, once confident in their superiority, now spoke of humanity with reverence and caution. The galaxy had learned a painful truth. Humans were unpredictable, clever, and relentless. They adapted, learned, and fought with a creativity no other species could match. And most importantly, they fought not for conquest but for life itself, for every heartbeat worth protecting. On the Erebus, Lena watched the sunrise over Earth. Golden light spilled across the oceans, lighting forests and cities alike. She thought of every human who had given their life, every soldier, every civilian, every child who had endured fear and emerged stronger. "We are fire," she whispered, feeling it in her bones. "And the galaxy will never forget it." Malik stood beside her, silent, letting the words settle between them. "They will remember us for generations," he said. "And when they speak of humans, they'll speak of courage, strength, and defiance. Even as humans rebuilt, they continued to prepare. Lessons had been learned. Defenses strengthened. Knowledge shared. Humanity had proven it could survive the impossible. And now it knew it could endure anything. The fire of defiance had become a beacon, a legacy that would echo across star systems and centuries. And then, in quiet moments across the planet, humans looked up at the stars, not with fear, but with pride. Every star reminded them of the battles fought, the lives lost, and the courage they had discovered within themselves. Humanity had faced the galaxy, faced annihilation, and had answered with fire, brilliance, and unbreakable spirit. In the end, the galaxy did not conquer humanity. Humanity had not just survived, it had triumphed. It had shown that courage, ingenuity, and heart could overcome any force, no matter how vast or terrifying. The universe had learned a lesson it would never forget. Humans were not to be underestimated, never to be ignored, and impossible to destroy. Admiral Lena Torres turned to Malik, a soft smile on her face. "This is our answer," she said. "The galaxy declared war on us, and we answered with fire. Our fire, the fire of every human heart." Malik nodded, eyes reflecting the golden sunlight of Earth. "And it will burn forever," he said. Humanity had spoken, the universe had listened, and in the hearts of every human the fire of courage and defiance would never fade.